It's Beast Wars time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today I'm going to have a look at the Takara Tomy Transformers masterpiece MP-41 Dinobot. Oh my god, guys. Oh my god. This is my favorite Transformers figure character ever. I've always been a huge fan actually of Beast Wars, because when it came out there wasn't really anything like it. You know, these days they keep recycling shows, rebooting shows. Back then it wasn't really a thing, so seeing Transformers back in the form of Beast Wars was something that got me very hyped. And I mean, Dinobot is just the best character of the show. I don't care what you say, that's my opinion, and I want to leave it at that. And I want to finally take this guy out of the box and have a look at Dinobot. That is one big dinosaur dude. I mean, is this the one to finally rule them all? I mean, that's another reason why I'm so hyped for this one, because we never really gotten a truly great Dinobot figure. So let's have a look at the size. He stands at about 22 centimeters to the top of his head, depending on if you're like stretch out his legs a little bit or less, but this is more like the ideal pose for me. Now, overall look and detail of the figure. I like the eyes, I love the texturing and the paint job in it. Very muted color scheme going on all throughout it. And yeah, it's clean, it's nice looking for the coloring. I say that because, I mean, you can tell there's some issues with the mold because it's transforming. I mean, you gotta find a way to kind of juggle these things, and I'm not so sure about this one. Looking at the toes though, has a nice gold metallic with much more molded detail in it. And as we move down to the thighs, you got the tail over here, and yeah, I mean, overall it's cool. He has a very nice action feature where you can swap the eyes around. Let me see. So there you got the angry eyes. I love these. Moving over to the articulation, actually, he can open his mouth, has tongue articulation. That's pretty cool. I mean, that was like one of the things of the early Beast Wars computer animated stuff that really played around along with it. We have a hinge in the head and another hinge in this entire ball area, so you can move that up and down very nicely. And then he swivels in his neck. The arms are on a hinge which is connected to a ball joint in there, which doesn't really get much out of it. I mean, there's a tiny ball in there, but it really just goes up and down and it rotates around, and not even all the way. It's pretty blocked by the mold because they don't really have any room. And you have somewhat of a bicep swivel, which looks wonky, breaks up the sculpt, but it's probably more part of the transformation. And we have a hinge over here, one over there, so you can make like drama poses. Oh, I don't know where that came from. The legs, there's nothing really in the thigh from what I can tell. I mean, I try moving it around, and I obviously don't want to break anything off, but you can tell there's not really, I don't see a ball joint, I just see a hinge in there. That's probably for the transformation. The only articulation starts at the knee. Well, it's not the only, but it starts at the knee. So it's nice and ratcheted over there, and you have a swivel under it, so you can bring that around. And then there's another one going down over here. I'm sorry if I'm knocking around everything. This is more for transformation though, because you can tell already the panel here is opening and stuff is coming out that's not supposed to be coming out. Nicely painted though in the back here, trying to hide it, but you know, it's hard. Then you got another hinge in the foot, and his claws also articulate, which is probably again still more part of transformation, but you can do that if you want to. And finally, the tail itself, I mean, it is on this panel over here, that doesn't really matter. I mean, can't really move it down. No, it's connected there. And then we have a hinge over here and one more at the back, so you can make the most unnatural tail poses. I'm sorry, but yeah, I mean, there's a bit of an issue going on over here. They did not succeed in really hiding all the robot stuff, which, to be fair, he's a big dude. And isn't he like the tallest character in Beast Wars? I mean, maybe Megatron is taller, but still, he's definitely taller than Optimus, and I think also Rhinox. So it's probably a challenge to put all of that in this dinosaur. So without further ado, I want to transform him off camera, because if I transform him on camera, it will be a hot mess. I always say that, and I always apologize, but I can't look through the camera and trying to transform this, because I had looked at the sheet. It's pretty big, so there's gonna be a lot of transforming going on. So sit tight, I'll be right back. So here we got robot mode. Gonna have a look at the size real quick again, and this took me a while, honestly. Like, this is 23 centimeters, 22, 23 centimeters to the top of his head. From what I can tell, I think this should be lower, but I can't really get it to go lower. And I mean, the dino face, it is pegged in. Everything is stable as it is right now. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And you know, if you got any ideas, I really tried to take it apart a little bit. Overall look and detail of the figure. The face is very nice. The face looks amazing, and you have a couple of faces, so you can play around with that. You even have some lights in there. I'll show you that later once I get to the other faces, because you can't see the light right now, because this is the face with the red painted eyes, and the mouth actually moves around. Hold on, let me move up that. So the mouth's on a hinge. Can open and close that. We have them tiny dinosaur teeth in there, very nicely molded, great detail. We have a metallic blue paint job in the face, and really all throughout the robot parts, like the helmet, the orange, the lines over here, and the shoulder pads. That's on the metallic, contrary to the muted brown tones of the dinosaur parts, which I like very much. Got a lot of stuff going on in the back. Not just paint-wise, but unfortunately also backpack-wise. So, I mean, I talked about the dinosaur form not being the cleanest. Same can be said about robot mode. On the flip side, though, they try to hide it as best as they can, and there's a lot of stuff going on in there. Let me tell you, again, these instructions, they were very long and very annoying, but I made it. We're here now. You got the claws with the metallic golden paint job, and actually a big F-up over here. Great. More gold over here, orange, and the knee pants. I like the leg part. The leg part looks fantastic, actually. There's so much tiny detail in there. It is accurate from what I can remember. And yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the lower part. The upper torso, it's too wide. It's just, honestly, it's just a little bit too wide. It's not the worst thing in the world, but if you think I'm nitpicking, you know, I mean, I'll get to that, alright? I'll get to the nitpicking. But regardless of that, I want to have a look at the articulation right now. You can take the head, it's on a hinge over here. So you can bring that up and then rotate it around. Otherwise, if you have it in there, it doesn't really do much. I mean, it still rotates, but there's nothing else. It is on a ball joint, but yeah, you don't have any room as soon as you put it in there. But you can lift it up, so you still have the ball to rotate it, tilt it side to side and whatnot. And for your shoulder articulation, you have the big hinge and a swivel, which is all ratcheted, so it does stay in place, which is very nice. Which unfortunately I cannot say for this panel that will not stay in place. It doesn't hook on to anything. So once again, if you want to play around with him, you're gonna have to hold on to this, otherwise it just goes up, just opens up. Well, now it doesn't, of course, because it wants to mock me. But this is just on a hinge. There's no swivel really going on anywhere. It is nice and ratchet, as you can hear. And then on this ball joint, I think the ball joint itself doesn't really rotate around, but you have a hinge. Again, ratcheted, and it's pegged in, so you can rotate it around and bring it up and down. For the torso articulation, there's not really anything going on, except for this part. You can pull that up and bend them forward if you want to. Obviously not really meant to be, but it is there. I mean, you can, if you play around with it. It does peg in nicely, and then you rotate him around. Has a swivel. For your leg articulation, it rotates around at this piece. So you can bring that forward, you can bring it back, and it does go out to, no, well, it doesn't actually go out to the side, because it's blocked by the mold over here, unfortunately. But it does rotate around on the ball, and you do have this knee joint. It is very stiff, but that's good for stability. Nice and ratcheted. And it does, I thought it would rotate around up here. Hold on, it does probably, yeah, it does rotate around if it's not blocked. And you can bring that around, not all the way, because you have this piece over there, which just getting in the way. And then we have the foot, which again rotates, and it does go back and forth a little bit. And you have this piece on the back, which always moves around. And you have this piece, which is always getting in my way, which is not I just wanted to bring that up. It's just like, That's another one of these pieces that don't really snap into place. It's just like kind of holding on to it. Finally, we're gonna have a look at the accessories. First of all, the faces. You got the ones with the hollow eyes. For the effect, I will demonstrate that later. But yeah, you got like more open eyes. Always have the hinge to open that. And then we got still one more with a bit of a smirk. Can still open the mouth. It's like Pac-Man over here. Then we got his tail. I mean, it just split his tail apart, and you get his how do you call that? His propeller weapon, I guess. It spins around. It's not really good to do in my review space over here. I obviously don't have enough room for it, but there it is. There's no detail in it. It looks kind of underwhelming. I don't know. With the hinges in there. It's also a bit troublesome to line it up straight. Then there's the Dino Saber, which doesn't spin for whatever reason. I really would have liked just tiny action feature to just push a button over here that it spins, because it did so in the show, and that was one of the more iconic weapons. You can, by the way, store this in here. I mean, you can fold it up to store it in your tail. Don't really care for that because I'm gonna leave them in robot mode anyway. But it's nice and chrome. I mean, nice and shiny. That's cool. Then let's see. We got this card over here. Got a trading card for your Dinobot. You got the golden disc, which is very important. I like that they added this one because you know, it's that one episode where he dies. Spoilers, but I mean. Spoilers for Beast Wars, guys. The show that's like, what, 20 years old? I'm sorry. Okay, then we have the Dino Beam. That's like extra eyes. Actually an add-on for his eyes. For, I mean, he has an eye laser, basically, which he uses to blow this up. Again, very important scene. I'm glad that they added that. And we have a button, something over here. I don't really know what this is for. I'm looking over instructions and I can't really tell why this is there. And then we got something to put your disc on, the golden disc actually. That's pretty cool. A little display stand for that. And finally you got these two pieces, which are just for the base. This is for Dino mode, which I'm not gonna go back there. But basically, you connect that to the Dinobot in the back. And for robot mode, you just have this piece which you connect to his crotch and then put it on up here on the base. This is the base. And I don't know if they've done this one on another Transformers figure yet. I mean, I know Megatron also gets one. I mean, the Beast Wars Megatron also gets one. So this is cool. I mean, I like the design of the base. There's a lot of detail in it as I ram into my ring light. Apologies for that. So basically how this works, you have this little hinge and it packs into, well, it does pack into all these ripples over here for very cool stability, and it has another hinge up here and then goes side to side with yet another hinge, and you cannot rotate this around, but you can take it off and put it on whichever way. It is a two-piece base, by the way, for whatever reason, just probably to take up space. But that's all the accessories. Let's go over to the final thoughts. So here we got the whole shebang with the base and everything going on. I mean, it looks cool. And that's gonna bring me to the final thoughts of this figure. I need to move this up, otherwise I'll just take this off. Honestly, this is annoying me a little bit, the lack of detail in it, so I'm just probably gonna leave that. And what do we have here? Is this connecting again? Great. Okay, final thoughts. You might, you know, we're going in a certain direction. Okay, so first of all, the good. The figure looks accurate. For the most part, I mean, the chest part is a tiny bit too wide. I mean, I looked it up, I went back, and I still stand by that. It's okay, but it's not, you know, that's not a huge deal breaker. Overall, the legs look great. The arms, everything, the paint job, the molded detail in it, all the scaly reptile stuff, the nice metallic blue, gold, and everything that's going on, the chrome Dino Saber. But then, as I turn them around, there's stuff like this. And, you know, I'm always torn between, like, okay, this, you gotta do a lot. You gotta do a lot to turn this dinosaur into this big robot, and the stuff gotta go somewhere. But I'm sticking to my previous comment, and I'm just saying, like, the arms over here, why can I just not take them off so this closes down better, so we got a better conversion and not a huge backpack like that which still has claws hanging out. So also there's still a bit of gaps over here in the torso, which again is not the worst, but here's the deal, guys. This figure clocks in at around 200 or 250 bucks. And there we have the problem with a not a big deal becoming a bigger deal because you're spending a big sum of money on this guy. It's hard to be 100% happy with a figure, but it's also hard to pay 250 bucks and still have small things like, this backpack over here, this over here, this might disconnect again because really I struggled with it pushing. Why doesn't this line up? Is this correct? Is this not correct? And why are your instructions not in English? Like, seriously, just put a couple of words in there. I don't know, it was like Figma or SH Figons who recently started doing instructions that are in English and Japanese. Seriously, Figma, where I don't even need instructions. For this transformation, I would really recommend getting on that, Takara Tomy, please. So anyway, what are my final thoughts? This figure is okay. If you think what you're seeing right now is worth the price, then go out and get him. If you're on the fence, I would say rather wait, but then again, if he's gone, he's gone. You're probably not gonna get him again. Honestly, I would hope for a price drop. Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. I really want to like this figure. I really want to stand here and tell you that this is the best figure and you should go out and buy it, but I can't. I honestly can't say that. So that's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, gameplay stuff, and whatever Dinobot wants.